welcome to my channel and welcome to VEDA Sunday question and answer. Woo! VEDA Sunday question and answer is a segment that I decided to do since I am doing VEDA, which is video every day in August, and I asked you guys to submit questions to me so you guys can get to know me a little bit better, and I have a couple questions for today that I'm going to be answering because you guys asked. Yay! So the first couple questions come from Stephanie. She is a new viewer of mine and she has been very interactive on my channel and I thank her for it. So her first question is my favorite subgenre in romance. So that is super hard to answer for the simple fact there are so many subgenres of romance. You have paranormal, you have dark romance, you have erotica, you have rom-coms, you have contemporary. I mean, there's just so many of them. Well, just going through those, I would have to say that first and foremost, I would have to say my favorite over the top on top of the list is going to be contemporary, because I love a story that I can get emotionally connected to and I can feel the emotions jumping off the page. If it's both characters that I'm hearing the voice from or just one character, I like to be emotionally connected. Now, with that, with saying that I like contemporary, it does not necessarily mean I like the regular format of contemporary. I don't have to have a happy ending for my contemporary romances. With all romance that I read, I don't have to have a happily ever after or happily for now. I like to think that the author is driven in a certain manner that, you know, they're going to listen to the characters that are in their head and give them the ending that they think they should have. If I agree with that ending, not always, but if the journey is there and it is beautiful and it flows and it feels like real life, I am so all in. So then the second category that I just absolutely die for and love is going to be romantic comedies, and that is because I like to laugh. I like rom-coms when it comes to my movies. I just like the light and the fun of it, and those are definitely probably my palate cleansers for if I ever try or start to slide into a book slump or reading slump. I automatically go to my rom-coms to get out of that slump or to stop it before it even starts. Then the third subgenre that I'm gonna have to go with is dark romances. And with that, I would actually have to tie in dark erotica or taboo, sort of like bundle those together, because dark is dark for me. So if it's dark, and when I say dark, I mean taboo, it deals with things that you're gonna cringe at or things that are not necessarily morally right, and I love that type of book. I mean, Stockholm Syndrome, not necessarily rape fantasy, but if that aspect is in there, I would consider that a dark book. So yeah, I admit I'm dark and twisted, and I like to have my brain mess with every once in a while. The next question she has is my top 3 authors that I love. So this is another hard question, Stephanie, because there are so many authors out there that I have found over my 5 years of reading that I've now like jumped into, over the 700 books that I've read. There are plenty of ones that I just absolutely adore. There are so many authors that I have met and that I have read that I haven't met but I want to meet, and but if I have to choose just 3, know that this is not in any sort of order. The ones that come off the top of my head right off the bat is going to be Alethea Roman, Carrie Haywood, and Kate Stewart. Next question is the top 3 romances of all times besides 50 Shades of Grey, because if you watch my channel for any amount of time, you know that I absolutely love 50 Shades of Grey. So this is another hard question, and I didn't prep for this. I'm going right off the cuff, and I'm gonna go with, oh goodness, the Consequences series by Alethea Roman, because that story twisted my brain. I mean, totally twisted my brain, and I was like, wow, why? Yeah. But it kept me intrigued the entire time. I wanted to know all the ins and outs, and I wanted to yell at characters, and I wanted to strangle characters through my Kindle and throw my book, and yes, loved it. Then I'm gonna go with Dying Wish by Margaret Macaiser, and I say this book even though I just read it at the end of last year, because this book, I emotionally connected with a young adult book. I mean, I had read some young adult books before and thought they were good. You know, some of the topics in them may have been a little bit sort of adult for them, and I didn't really feel that they were, you know, high school sort of young adult romance or young adult characters. I thought that maybe they were too old for themselves, or maybe they were acting too old for themselves. But this book, oh my goodness, it ripped my heart out, and I was just all in for it. Just yes. I would have to go with Dying Wish by Margaret Macaiser for that one. And then finally, it's a bit of a tie for the third one, so I'm actually going to give you 4, and that's going to be Excess by Kate Stewart. And that is because I had known Kate Stewart as being a rom-com sort of author when I first started reading her, but Excess is so not that. It's dark, it's twisted, it's crazy, it's gritty, it's sexy, it's just so much goodness. Oh, ooh, I love that book just so very much. And then the next one is going to be Dear Life by Megan Quinn, and that book, I picked that book because it definitely grabbed me, and it's still one of the books that if I could give that away to everyone, absolutely everyone, I would do that, because it follows 4 characters, 2 males, 2 females, and they are all going through their own sort of trauma, and it entangles because they get into a support group, and the lessons that are learned are written out on the page, and it's not even a help manual, but at the same time it is. That is just what Dear Life is, and it's amazing. I absolutely adore that book. Now, for Stephanie, I have a suggestion for you to read See Through Heart by Amy Knight. I know that you shared a very personal story with me and with anyone that looks on the channel and on the video. And I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing. I don't know your struggles or anything like that, but I know that it takes everything to come day by day. Now my next questions come from Dimple the Page, and her first question is, do you like reading different genres other than romance? And last year I tried to push myself and read outside of the romance genre. I did pretty good on that challenge, but I definitely am more drawn to a book that has a romance in it. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that the romance has to be hot and steamy at all times. It could be, you know, fade to black, sort of suggesting that they're getting it on, or even not necessarily have that sexual content in there, but have the, I guess, suggestion of it. So yeah, I gotta have my romance. I really haven't found any other major books that I'm just like, yes, I would, you know, crawl over the sands of time to read and, you know, suggest everything like that. I did read The Martian by Andy Weir, and I truly did enjoy that one, but that was because it took me 3 times, and then I listened to it on audiobook, and that was the only way that I guess I got my mind wrapped around it, because there was so much science in that book and so much math, and to actually hear it read to me was much easier than it was for me to actually sit down and read it. And then to watch the movie, I love that movie. Anytime it's on one of my premium channels, I'm like, gotta watch The Martian, gotta watch The Martian. The next question, well, I answered the next question. It was, if so, what other ones do I like? So yeah, I just answered that one. Now, the big question that Dimple had for me was, How do I receive ARCs? Now, that is a sort of video on its own, but I am more than happy to answer that question right now for you. And that is, I have been working my butt off for the last 2 years. I didn't start getting ARCs until last year when I started going out to book signings, meeting authors, and pitching myself as giving a new perspective on the book review, because there are so many bloggers out there that do book reviews and you have to sit down and you have to read them. Well, if I'm going to read a book blogger, their thoughts and everything like that about a book, or a synopsis of the book itself, why not try something different and put those reviews to videos? And that's what I went out and started suggesting. And I've had quite a few authors that are like, yeah, I want something different. I want to hear your views. And I also don't give spoilers. I am a very spoil-free video reviewer, book reviewer, because I absolutely hate spoilers. Can't stand them. I want to go into books as blind as possible, not necessarily knowing what is going on. I love it when a blurb or a synopsis for the story is very vague, and then I get into it and I'm like, what? That is not what the story was supposed to be like. Similar to I Do Not or Don't by Letty Harper, which I just finished, and I thought that was going to be a Vegas, one night of crazy Vegas and, see what things happen. Yeah, it's so much more. So much more. I absolutely adored that book, and yeah, those are the questions for my Sunday VEDA question and answer. Also, I will be leaving the next week's questions open, or if you guys have questions for me, please let me know down in the comments so that I can answer those for you next Sunday. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys tomorrow.